Hey YouTube, Kier Twig here, bringing you all my Evil Eye Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for post the Infinity Chasers. Wanted to do the Evil Eyes as my first deck profile from the set, just because it was the deck I was going to build from it. I actually have friends that are building the other decks that I am assisting with from the set as well. So as soon as they get those decks created, I will do deck profiles on them as well. But I really like the whole concept of the Evil Eyes being a control deck. Just really taking these cards and destroying your opponent's cards, and just having Tsundere, which is the main monster of the deck, just with his equip spell for protection and destruction against your opponent. It really is an interesting aspect for a deck. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see just what really takes off from the set, if anything, meta-wise. But let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So I am missing some of the cards still. I do apologize for that, but I just really like to get the deck profile out as quickly as I can. So I want to run 3 Tsundere, Watcher of the Evil Eye in the deck. When this card is normal summon, you can add 1 Evil Eye card from your deck to your hand, except Tsundere. And if this card is equipped with an Evil Eye of Selene, it's a quick effect. You can target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls, destroy it. You can only use this effect of Tsundere once per turn, and once per turn during the next standby phase. After this effect was activated, destroy 1 card you control. So that's kind of the whole gimmick for the Evil Eye monsters, destroying your opponent's cards, but then on the next turn, destroying another one. So you really have to act fast with the monsters you run in the deck, but being a searcher from the deck, Tsundere definitely does help just with setting up whatever cards you need for the deck. The card I'm running as backup for Tsundere until I get 2 more is Basilisk, Familiar of the Evil Eye. If you control an Evil Eye monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Basilisk, Familiar of the Evil Eye once per turn this way, and during your main phase you can send 1 Evil Eye spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of the Familiar once per turn. So it works well with Medusa, which we'll get to in just a bit. But overall, it also just works for more of a link kind of aspect of the deck, just having, monsters quickly out on the field. But the deck is meant to be more of a control kind of deck, so definitely 3 Tsundere overall for your lineup. And the other one, I run 2 Medusa, Watcher of the Evil Eye. This is kind of which goes into the lore, is the back and forth between Medusa and Tsundere over the equip spell, which is what they are fighting over. Selene, which is a very interesting aspect that they took for the archetype. But 2 Medusa, when this card is normal summon, you can target 1 Evil Eye card in your graveyard, except for Medusa, Watcher of the Evil Eye, add it to your hand. And if this card is equipped with Evil Eye of Selene, you can target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it. You can only use this effect of Medusa, Watcher of the Evil Eye once per turn, and once per turn during the next standby phase after this effect was activated, banish 1 card in your graveyard. So basically complete opposites with Medusa and Tsundere for card effects. They work basically the same, just in different locations in the deck. I would say Tsundere is a little more better of a card, just for the fact that it can search for cards in the deck. Well, you already have to have your graveyard set up for Medusa to work. That's why I also only want to run 2 of her. But just for backup, I run 1 Catoblepis, Familiar of the Evil Eye. You can target 1 Evil Eye spell or trap you control once per turn until the end of the next turn. After this card cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And if you control an Evil Eye monster other than Catoblepis, Familiar of the Evil Eye, while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field, and you can only use each effect of Familiar of the Evil Eye once per turn. Just another added backup, and same with Basilisk for your other 2 monsters. But Medusa and Tsundere are definitely just the main setup for this deck for searching your cards and using them. So just another backup for Medusa. And then other monsters that I run, there aren't too many for the deck. So I run just a basic hand trap lineup. in assistance with the 2 main monsters of the deck. So 3 Ash Blossom, just another easy card to gain access to since the Salmon Great structure deck. So definite 3 of, just a good hand trap overall, locking down your opponent with their searches. And also I run 3 Effect Veiler, just being able to stop your opponent's monsters effects going off. Another good hand trap to run in line with your other cards. And lastly, for the monsters, I'm main decking 2 Dino Wrestler Pankratops, just an additional card that can take care of your opponent's cards just for an easy special summon, and then, destroying Pankratops for destroying one of your opponent's cards. Now, another card I may run in the deck is Pot of Extravagance. I know just everyone doesn't have access to Extravagance, so if I were to run that card as a search and draw power for the deck, I would probably take out the Pankratops and one other card. That is if you wanted to run Extravagance. If not, just having this option or even Ghost Ogre or another hand trap for the deck could be the final spot for your monsters in the main deck. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I want to run 2 Evil Eye of Selene. I just have 1 Evil Eye Confrontation as backup for this spell. It is the main equip spell of the deck. You equip only to an Evil Eye monster. It cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects. Also, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. Each time you activate the equipped monster's effect or you activate another Evil Eye spell or trap, the equipped monster gains 500 attack, and if it does, you lose 500 life points. This attack gain remains even if this card leaves the field. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can pay 1,000 life points, then banish 1 Evil Eye spell or trap from your graveyard, except Evil Eye of Selene, and set this card. You can only use this effect of Selene once per turn. So what's good about it is the fact that it can basically move back and forth between Surzeal and Medusa for equipping, using the effect to gain the attack, and then being destroyed by Surzeal's own effect, and then being set and reused. Overall, just beneficial with some of your other cards as well, including Evil Eye Confrontation, which I do run into the deck. So we'll get to it during the lineup. I also have 2 Evil Eye Domain in the deck. Been thinking about running a third one. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Evil Eye monster from your deck to your hand. If I had the third one, I would just take out one of the additional spells, which I'll show in the video in a bit. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Evil Eye monster from your deck to your hand, and once per turn during damage calculation, if your Evil Eye monster is attacked while Evil Eye of Selene is in your spell and trap zone, you can make the battle damage you take from the battle also inflicted to your opponent. And if this card is in the field zone is destroyed by a card effect, you can target 1 Evil Eye monster in your graveyard, add to your hand. You can only activate 1 Evil Eye Domain per turn, but it kind of works. Like I said, I really do think it's awesome how they incorporate both Medusa and Surzeal for all the effects of the cards, working in the graveyard and also searching monsters from the deck. Kind of takes both of the monsters into consideration with this card, so being searched from both spots definitely does help the deck out. And I also run 1 Evil Eye Repose. Just being searchable is the one reason I just run 1 of this card. When you activate this card, you can banish 1 Evil Eye card from your graveyard to draw 1 card. And once per turn after damage calc, if your Evil Eye monster equipped with Evil Eye of Selene attacked an opponent's monster, you can banish that opponent's monster. And if this card is in the spell and trap card zone is destroyed by a card effect, you can target up to 3 of your banished Evil Eye cards, return them to your graveyard. You can only activate 1 Repose per turn. So you just have options with Selene, once again, with that banish and recycle. So a definite one of, just for the fact that you can search it out also. Same with Evil Eye Awakening. It's just an easy special summon card by special summoning 1 Evil Eye monster from your hand or graveyard, or if Selene is in the spell and trap zone, you can special summon 1 Evil Eye from your deck. So like I said, more beneficial when you have Selene on the field, but just a good option to get an additional monster out to the field. And we had the 1 filling in for an additional Selene, but I also run 2 Evil Eye Confrontation. If you control an Evil Eye monster, you target 1 spell or trap your opponent controls, destroy it. And if you do, and Evil Eye of Selene is in your spell and trap zone, you banish that destroyed card. You can activate 1 Confrontation per turn, but it's a quick play, and it takes care of spell and traps. So just a good option depending on what your opponent can use against you. And we talked about Pot of Extravagance, but the fact that we don't really special summon too much with our 2 main monsters in the deck, I run 3 Pot of Duality, just being able to search plenty with some of the other Evil Eye cards, and then just using this for additional search to grab a specific card you may need. Definitely does come up and in handy for the deck. And also 3, Called by the Grave. Just, you know, easy trap, hand trap answers with this card. Standard for most decks, so very, very helpful. In a control deck for sure, if your opponent tries to stop any of your Evil Eye searches or summons. And also 2 Terraforming, just to search your field spell much faster, since it does give you benefit pluses searching out monsters as well. And lastly, for the spells, I run 1 Regeki and 1 Upstart Goblin. Now, the Upstart Goblin would be replaced for a 3rd copy of the field spell. So if you have a 3rd copy of this, that is the card I would replace for it. And Regeki, along with the Pankratops, are the 3 cards I would take out if you wanted to run a card of Extravagance in the deck, just for more draw power. But if you don't have that option, then you can just run the Regeki and the Pankratops, like I stated before in the video. And that is it for the spells. Moving on to the traps, I run 3 Evil Eye Retribution. It's a counter trap. When a spell or trap is activated while you control an Evil Eye monster, negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. And if Selene is in your spell and trap zone, this card's activation and effect cannot be negated. You only activate 1 per turn, but a very powerful trap, being able to negate the spell or traps, and also not being able to negate this card can definitely help against your opponent too while Selene is on the field. So it's just an extra beneficial bonus. I also run 1 Evil Eye Defeat. If you control an Evil Eye monster, you target 1 monster on the field, or up to 2. Instead, if Selene is in your spell and trap card zone, like the theme of most of the cards in the deck, return them to the hand. You can only activate 1 defeat per turn, but just an easy bounce for your opponent's extra deck monsters for sure, or just anything pesky on the field with the plenty of trap backups we run. And lastly, I also run just a Solemn Brigade, so 1 Solemn Judgment, 1 Solemn Warning, and the 3 Solemn Strikes, just as additional backup to all the other traps we run in the deck, and Call by the Graves, you name it, the equip spell, just protecting Selene. Runs a good lineup, so your back row is always filled and usable when you go up against your opponent. And the only other life points we use, really, would be the, the 500 from Selene every time you use it, which doesn't really add up compared to when you use these cards as well. And that is it for the main deck. When I move on to the extra, I run 1 Surzial, Ruler of the Evil Eye. Now, we don't go into links too often, but I just like having this option available when it can. If this card was link summoned using a monster with 26 or higher attack as material, it can make a 2nd attack during each battle phase. And if this card is equipped with Evil Eye of Selene, quick effect, you could target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. You can use this effect of Ruler of the Evil Eye once per turn, and once per turn during the next standby phase after this effect was activated, negate the effect of 1 effect monster this card currently points to. So depending on what you're pointing up against your opponent, you can take care of some pesky problems they have, but I just like having this link option available if I need to go into the extra deck. But mostly, the extra deck, just pretty generic when you can go into it. So 1 Wee Witch Apprentice, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Topologic Trisbana, and 1 Borreload, and with Medusa and Surzial being basically the levels 4 for both of them, I decided to run just a generic Exceed lineup. So 1 Baguska, 1 Utopia and Utopia the Lightning, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Time Thief Redoer, 1 Steel Swarm Roach, 1 Exciton Knight, and 1 Gaga Cowboy. Like I said, when I go into the extra deck, it helps, but most of the time, I just have the setup and destruction with the Evil Eye cards that I use that most of the time takes care of what my opponent is trying to do. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, definitely looking forward to making the Infinite Tracks and the Witchcrafts as well when those decks finally get finished. But until then, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.